Hey, what is going on, guys? Hope you guys are having an amazing Friday. It's about, technically it's Friday. What is this, 12 in the morning right now? Either way, I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday and hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Either way, let's talk about Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2 remakes and how they are possibly the next ones coming out. But I want to address one big thing with this remake. If it does come out, they need to make sure that game's base story for both games, and even including American Wasteland, all their stories need to be intact. So if you guys know, the news is, I'm not sure if this is confirmed. They're saying only Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 is not going to have a story. It's just going to have basically, it's going to be a very short story where like basically so basically every level that you go past, right? It's going to be challenges, not really like the original story mode. So I mean that is, I'm not gonna lie, man, that is kind of the bad thing about it. I don't like when they cut stuff out like that, but I guess I'm still gonna play it. I already pre the collection edition and shit like that. So that's that. Don't judge me. Also, guys, one more thing: the gameplay in the background. Do note that yes, I might suck ass because I was doing all this off an iPhone. So this is me just using. I'm using touchscreen, by the way, all touchscreen. So give me props. It's all touchscreen, no controller at all. But yeah, man, I was a bit bummer to hear that we're not going to be getting the story for 4. I'm not sure if it's 3 as well, but look, man, the one thing that needs to be there are all the special characters. All the secret characters. They need to all still be in there. I don't care. 3 and 4 had really interesting characters. No matter what anyone says, we need them in there. But yeah, man, for Underground 1 and 2 sake, because I don't think we're gonna get American Wasteland with it. Now, some say, "Oh, why are you so confident in Underground 1 and 2?" Guys, let's not act like Underground 1 and 2 aren't the most memorable Tony Hawks in the franchise. Like we have 3 and 4, right? But after 3 and 4, we got Underground, right? After 4, we got Underground, and everyone enjoyed it. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. That's what took off for the Tony Hawk games. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's when Tony Hawk confirmed that, like, randomly he was at like a dinner with some Activision devs, and out of nowhere they slipped him a check of like 5 million. So he even admits like the games are what got him his like all most of his net worth. Let's be honest now. Like Underground is where a lot of basically skateboarding games. Everyone had Underground and Underground 2. And when Underground 2 came out, it went even more better. I feel like some people, I don't know where I hear this dumbass rumor that people didn't like Underground 2, which makes no sense because that ain't what I saw. I saw nothing but everyone and anyone having Underground 2. Everyone who had a stoner friend back in the day, right? And they had a PS2. There is a few games they will never pawn off. They will pawn off their TV before they pawn off their PS2. And that's facts. You know what I mean? But the few games those stoners will not get rid of is Underground 1, Underground 2, American Wasteland, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Vice City. You know what I mean? Those are 5 games they will not get rid of no matter what. They get rid of one of those, they're filing for bankruptcy at that point. You know what I mean? That's how important these games were. You can't say that, because before we had Skate, and I'm gonna say Skate 1, like it, and I was an early adopter of Skate. I bought it, got the receipt and everything, right? Skate, you know what I mean? I was like, like it's cool. But I was like, well, you know what? Looks like I'm just gonna end up going back to Underground, because back then we had the PS3 that's backwards compatible, so we got to play PS2 games on it. But I just went back to Underground 2, and American Wasteland, dude. I just wasn't really interested in Skate. Skate 2, that's where my, I got into Skate more, where I actually loved it. Skate 2 is what, made me purchase Skate 3, and Skate 3 was amazing. But the new Skate, there's some interesting stuff happening with it, where look, I understand people. I know some people complain about them putting microtransactions in like a alpha, whatever the case might be. Look, dude, it's a choice whether you want to do it or not. I'm already done complaining about it. I've already seen what it is, right? And you can't really judge it. Like, you can judge as much as you want, right? But they're not gonna stop doing it, no matter what. I mean, if you want to change it, I guess don't. And because the game's gonna be free, right? So with the new Skate, whatever happens with it, because we know EA is not gonna stop, no matter what. A little odd they're putting it in an alpha, but I mean, dude, we've seen even more worse shit before. So yeah, man. But look, all I'm gonna say is that when these remakes drop for Underground 1 and 2, I'll still play the Skate demo, or I'll still play the new Skate. But if it comes out when the new Skate's coming out, that's a tough choice right there. I'm not sure if I want to play the new Skate. I'd rather go to Underground 1 and 2 remakes and play those. And if they have online support as well, so like, dude, you can't say no to that. But look, the more skateboarding games, the more sports, games like that, I'm with it. The more like, when I see sports, right? I want to see more BMX games. I want to see more skateboarding games. I want to see, you know what? It'd be funny. I wouldn't mind if like a street scooter game came out. I know that's odd to say. Some people like, oh, a scooter game. I mean, well, I don't mind seeing that, right? We have all types of games, but I don't know if we've ever like we had a rollerblade game that came out on PS2 back then. I don't know if we got a scooter game. I don't believe we did, but like we got a good bunch of games back then. I want to see them come back now because, dude, now when you see extreme sports games, we're not really getting. I don't know, man. Like they're more or less made by devs who are kind of smaller than what a usual studio would be for those type of games. I mean, not like how they were back then. So a lot of studios back then, I don't think like, so. Neversoft, we seen a lot of employees back then. They weren't like, it wasn't a big studio, but I mean, it was still bigger than what most of these studios are now. We don't really see a lot of, you know, uh, we don't see a lot of extreme sports type of games. We don't see BMX games the way they used to be. I mean, we don't see. I mean, we yes, I know there's a BMX game that already came out, but I'm just talking about like full fledged BMX games. Like we don't really see the industry caring so much about them how they were back then. Like we don't get any more Dave Mir BMX freestyle twos. Like we don't get none of that stuff anymore. Like it just that's why like for me remakes are kind of the only way to, I guess, salvage that era in a way, because how are you going to get like the only way to get a lot of these people who weren't there for these games, right? And they do enjoy the sport, they do enjoy like BMX games, or just whatever the case might be, right? They enjoy those type of games, and when you remake old games like those, they get to you introduce a whole new audience to them. So at this point, man, I'm not, new games are cool too. I would, if you're gonna do a new game, do what those games did, and just make them better. They were doing that with like you gotta understand, it's like Pro Skater. Out of my favorite one, out of the Pro Skater series, I would say is like 3 and 4 my favorite, but 4 is probably like my most favorite out of the Pro Skater series, and then I would say after that, Underground 1, 2, and 3, and American Wasteland. It's hard to say which one's my favorite because they're all amazing. So, but those games initially all got better after the other. You know what I mean? We went from like, because I remember they were done with Pro Skater, and now it's like Underground 2003. When Underground came out, it was a whole new different thing. I mean, yes, it's same as skateboarding has, right? But all the new stuff you could do, it's more like street skateboarding, which already was, right? But it's just, it had its own full-fledged story where, like, you know what I mean? It was, because the 3 and 4, its stories, like, they are what Underground is, but there's like more to it. Like Underground just had a more meaningful story, in my opinion. I think I enjoyed it way more than so I'm gonna say that, well, the 3 games of the best story in the series is gonna be Underground 1 and 2. Actually, no, Underground 1, uh, and Underground 2. See, the thing about Underground 2 is that it's a very short story. But it still did what it needed to do, because like I said, when they made Underground 2 a year later, they improved on a lot of stuff and they added new stuff. That's the whole point of what I'm talking about. Is like every year, like whether it was a year or not, right? Within a year, like I said, within 1 year, they would make a new game. And when they made that new game, it's not a copy and paste. There's new shit in the game. Like Underground 2 had it where you could ride a bull, you could ride like a two-wheel, like there's one two-wheel, you can even grind on rails and all that stuff. Like it just, the maps are amazing. All these new cool iconic things you can do with the maps. You go through a door, you launch up in the air by like I believe it was like what do you call it, a catapult? Is that what you would call that? Whatever the case was, right? You get launched up in the air and you go through it, and like they kept on improving it, and then American Wasteland comes out. Like that just tells you, man, like they kept on going and kept on going. And then, Project 8 had its moment. But Project 8 was a big game for most people. I mean, it was a launch title for PS3 owners, it was for PSP owners, it was for PS2 owners, and 360 owners. Like a lot of people bought it. I'm sure it had millions of sales. Like I would say maybe like 3 million, maybe 2 million, right? Because it's a game coming off of, American Wasteland. So, but like I said, I already said my gripes with Project 8. It just, the skateboarding did not feel like, I don't know. You can't go from like American Wasteland to that. It's weird. It just didn't feel right for some reason. But I'm not gonna lie, like they did a good job on the maps and stuff. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was what it was. I mean, I think it was only one map. I don't know if it was like a bunch of other maps. Because like I said, guys, I played it for a little bit. I didn't fully beat it. I kind of lost interest after a while. I do have it for PSP, PS2, and 3. I've ended up picking up the PS2 version like not too long ago, but yeah, the PS2 version, the PSP, but the main one I had was the PSP version. So like I said, man, it is on them on what they do, but the main ones they need to remake is Underground 1 and 2 and American Wasteland. But mainly 1 and 2 because, that's really what we need. So, man, let me know down below your thoughts on this. Like I said, I'd love to know your favorite memories of Underground 1 and 2. What was your first Tony Hawk game? Was it Underground? Was it Pro Skater 3 and 4? Have you pre-ordered Pro Skater 3 and 4? And yeah, I want to know down below. And also, when do you expect Underground 1 and 2 remakes to happen? And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. If you guys can, please do the like button. Also, subscribe as well because it helps out. And also like the video because it shares the video around. I do appreciate it. And I appreciate all you guys. I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. And see you guys next time. Peace.